everybody, Charles for HumbleMechanic.com, and this is episode 34 of the Humble Mechanic Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about factory repairs versus non-factory repairs. Before we get rolling, welcome to everybody that's new to the show. Just to kind of talk about the scheduling really quick, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do shows like this, the podcast shows. And that's where we talk about all things in the automotive industry, being a technician, buying tools, staying safe, all that kind of stuff. On Tuesdays, we take failed parts, disassemble them, talk about what they do, how they work, and how they fail. And on Thursday, that's review day, whether it's tool reviews or automotive-related product reviews. So just a refresher on the schedule for everybody. It's also really cold in the garage, so I'm wearing gloves, and I got my heater down here, so I'm trying to stay kind of warm. I know, for you guys up north, being 38 in the garage is nice and warm, but I'm in the south and it's cold. So, all right, before we get talking about the difference between factory and non-factory, we need to determine what a factory repair really means. And the way I think about it is, what would the manufacturer want me to do if this vehicle were under warranty? So is this making a wiring repair, or is it replacing a harness? Which one would be, the traditional factory recommended repair? Is it crimping a connector versus soldering a connection? Both can be really good repairs, but in the Volkswagen world anyway, they would want me using the heat shrink crimp connectors, not making a solder. So a lot of times too, with a factory-based repair, it's usually a replacement of a part rather than a repair of a part. Like that vacuum pump we talked about the other day, a factory repair wouldn't be resealing the outer cover, it would be replacing the pump. Or if the seal's available, replacing the seal. But since that outer seal isn't available separate, it gets a whole new pump. So that's sort of the mindset we have to be in when we're talking about a factory repair. The reason that we have to be thinking that way, and the reason we do repairs that way at the dealership, is basically it all revolves around warranty. So if I make a repair and let's say, I repair a wiring harness, and the door harness is a great example, and I make a repair in the door harness, even if I sort of follow the factory standards of making a repair, it's a bad repair. Now that customer moves to California and has another problem, they're going to go in and go, this guy didn't make a factory repair, we can't cover it under warranty. Whereas if I were to replace the harness, and it had a problem with the new part, they would be able to cover that under warranty. All of our parts have a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty, so we have to make sure that we're doing a repair that in 11 and a half months at a dealership across the country, they can look at it and go, they did the proper repair at the time, we need to do this different repair now. Technicians are also programmed to think this way. We're programmed to understand that, there may be an issue down the road, another dealership has to be able to cover it. If I open up a module and try and repair a solder and it's fixed for 3 months, well, that's great because we saved the customer, $700 or whatever on buying a new module. But there's no way that we can warranty that repair. Even if I did the perfect solder job, there's no way if they, again, go to a dealership in California that they're going to be able to take and go, oh, this is fine, we'll resolder, we'll replace the module. They're going to go, they messed the car up. Either the dealership that did the initial repair needs to pay for it, or the customer needs to pay for it. So we're sort of programmed in this, you need to make sure you do this the way that we want you to for all these other reasons, which can be good and bad. It can be good because the customer, the dealership tech's generally going to recommend a new part versus a replacement part, which means they're probably getting more parts than they need, but it can cost the customer a lot more money. Take a headlight, for example. If I do a repair on the connector for the headlight bulb, and I do a perfect job, no problem. The customer spent, call it, $100. Well, since that harness isn't available separately on some headlights, the only factory repair is to replace the headlight. Well, now that customer maybe spent $1,000 on a new headlight versus $100 on just repairing 2 wires that go to a headlight. So again, as dealer techs, we're sort of programmed in this mindset. And honestly, it's not bad, but it does sort of take some of the creativity out of making repairs away from you. You don't really get to think outside of the box and about that. And there's customer issues with it too, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it forces you into the only repair for this is to replace the part. The only repair for this is to replace the harness, not repair the harness. And again, that can be good and that can be bad. It all depends on each individual situation. There's also the parts department end of it. A really great example is the TDI, the older TDI, the ALH injection pumps. So they're known, well, not known so much, but it's not uncommon for them to leak fuel. And for years and years and years, and even still now, I don't think you can buy any of the seals for these pumps from Volkswagen. But there's aftermarket solutions that sell an entire rebuild kit, which is awesome, for these pumps. And they have a great DIY. I'll put a link to where to get it if you guys are interested in this ALH pump. The name of the company, I think it's Diesel Geek or something. But there's a link in the show notes, so hit that link because I might be wrong on who the company is. But they sell, again, the $60, $70, whatever it costs, rebuild kit for these pumps. Well, by Volkswagen standard, you have to buy a new pump, and that pump's like $1,600 plus labor to install it. So you take what could be done with less labor or the same labor to rebuild this pump and $60 in parts, and compare that to $1,500 worth of parts buying. If it's a department selling the parts, which one are they going to want to sell more? They're going to want to sell the $1,500 one rather than a customer bringing a $60 part kit and asking you to install it. So there's also this mindset in the dealership, especially in aftermarket too. Not only do we want to sell labor, but we want to sell parts. And we'll talk about the customer end in a minute, and there's some ways around some of that, but that's a huge difference. You might make $300 on that pump and you're making $5 or nothing on the seal kit. There's also the Beetle, like the door handle rebuild kits where the Beetle door handles, to pull it shut breaks. The only Volkswagen fix is, I don't know, a $600 door panel where you can buy a kit to repair it for $80. And again, at the dealership level, we're thinking, okay, I got to make this repair. I got to make this repair to a Volkswagen standard. I'm not even going to look for an aftermarket solution. In the aftermarket, they're thinking $700 for a door panel is ridiculous. Let's just buy this $80 part. The customer will be happy. We'll make some money on it, and everybody wins. And the customer doesn't have to shell out almost $1,000 just so they can close their door. So you have to consider that. You really have to consider, everybody wants to get their piece of this pie, and sometimes it works out really well for everyone. Sometimes it's the customer that suffers for it because, we're not always thinking what other solutions are there for this problem. When customers bring their car to the dealership, there's always this expectation. They have an expectation of, I'm going to get OEM parts, I'm going to get OEM service, and I'm going to pay OEM prices for it. So when you sort of step out of bounds of, like that injection pump, of the $1,500 injection pump, initially I think customers are really happy about it. And they're like, wow, they're going to save me, $1,000 or $2,000, whatever the savings might be. But the problem is they're still expecting this OEM type situation to happen. They're still expecting, if, let's say we rebuild that ALH pump with the $60 kit, and they go on vacation to California and their car develops a small fuel leak because maybe the seal was tweaked. They expect that if they go to a Volkswagen dealership, Volkswagen's going to cover that. Now, if the service advisor and technician working on the car did a good job explaining, there should be a little bit clearer picture for the customer. But in their mind, it's always, I got it fixed at Volkswagen. Volkswagen should pay for it. And that's where sort of that programming of technicians comes in, because if they would have put that pump on, parts fail, brand new parts fail. I've had plug something in, it doesn't work. Plug another one in, it doesn't work. Plug the third one in, that's the one that fixed it. So there's this expectation that they're going to get it replaced by Volkswagen or repaired by Volkswagen, but we did an aftermarket repair and there's not going to be any kind of warranty, especially across the country. If they brought it back to us, we can work around that. But it's a lot harder to deal with a dealership, 20 states away and take care of that customer when, technically we didn't do a Volkswagen repair. I think for me, it really comes all down to options. We have to give the customer the option. again, that ALH pump thing, for the longest time at the dealership, we were putting on pumps. And then, I forget how it came up. I think it was one of the other guys in the shops like, hey, there's this seal kit. It's $60. Why don't we try one the next time a customer comes in? So next time a customer came in, we laid out all the options for them. We said, the factory repair is to replace this $1,500 pump. If that's an option you want to take, it is, quote unquote, the best option. There's a $60 repair kit. We don't know. This might be everything you need. This might take care of everything. We can do this at $60 plus whatever the labor is. The pump's $1,500 plus labor. This is $60 plus labor. What do you want to do? If we put a pump on it, you got a brand new pump. Not only do you got a brand new pump, but you got a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty. If we put this seal kit in and it fixes it, awesome. If in 6 months your pump's leaking again, it's going to be on you. There's not really any type of warranty on this repair. Now, if it's a workmanship issue, and let's say I put this seal kit on and I mess something up, I'm not only am I going to take care of it, but the dealership will take care of that too. So that's a little bit different story. But we're talking purely failed parts here. And there's a million examples. Headlight repairs, the TDI. I think it was Diesel Geek again that they made a little arm to repair the intake flap on the common rail diesels. It's like, I don't know, $80, $100, or you could replace a $300 something intake manifold plus labor. Again, it's all about laying out options for the customer. And from a customer standpoint, you need to understand that when they're telling you there's not going to be a warranty on this, there's not going to be a warranty on that part. I know you have the mindset of I'm going to be able to bring it back if this fails again, but they should have done a really good job explaining this is not a, quote, factory repair. This is a non-factory repair. We're going to not be able to warranty this unless, again, it's, workmanship issues come in at a whole different level. So I don't really consider that. Again, pure parts failure, we won't be able to cover this. And then let the customer make the choice. If you're a customer and you want to roll the dice on $60, awesome, I would. I mean, hell, $1,500 is a lot of money. Or you can replace the part and know 100% that it's going to get taken care of. And not worry about it. So for me, the $60 dice roll is a no-brainer. I would do it every single time. In fact, now that's what I recommend to customers. I don't, I still give them the option. If you want to replace the $1,500 pump, let's put a pump in it. If you want me to rebuild the pump, let's rebuild the pump. It's up to you. Here's all your options. Here's how everything can play out. Here's the pros and cons of the pump, the pros and cons of the seal kit. You make the decision and tell me what you want me to do. And I think when you get the customer involved in that decision-making process, you tend to mitigate a lot of the mindset of this is always going to be covered under warranty. I had it fixed 2 years ago. It should be covered. Well, remember 2 years ago when you decided you didn't want to replace that? It's not covered. And I mean, technically it wouldn't be covered anyway, but that's not really the point, I guess. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I would love to hear your thoughts on this kind of stuff. This is another one of those shows where you guys, especially in the aftermarket, have a lot different of a view on some of this stuff than I do. My mindset is 99% or maybe 90% factory repair. It's got to be that way because I do a lot of warranty work. And then the other 10% is really reaching out and trying to find these incredibly creative and fun and affordable solutions to helping customers out. Because honestly, there's a lot of times where putting on parts sucks and it's boring. And okay, I've replaced this water pump 1,000 times. I know how to do it. I could do it in my sleep. Intake manifolds are a great example of that. How cool would it be to find a repair where you didn't have to take the intake manifold off, you install a new tumbler in it or whatever, and save the customer a ton of money and have something a little bit more interesting in your day-to-day job rather than, take part off, swap, put part on, let car leave. So post your comments in the comments below is where I was going with that. If you like the video, throw it a thumbs up on YouTube. Don't forget you can also subscribe on YouTube or on the blog. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the blog, Instagram. I'm all over those most of the time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.